Hi friends, welcome back to my February reading vlog. This month I'm actually already behind on my goal of reading one book a week. I ended up missing last week because I accidentally grabbed the wrong book on the way to the airport and didn't have anything to read on my flight or the first half of my trip to New York. But one of the bookstores that I went to, the Ripped Bodice, which is a romance-only bookstore, I ended up picking up the cheat sheet for the rest of my trip. I figured this one would be a short, good, low commitment book to start off with. I didn't want to buy anything that was going to stick me into the middle of a series or be super long or heavy commitment because I have so many other books I already own and need to read. I also wanted something pretty quick that I could finish easily, and really looked around for a while trying to pick something that was the right vibes for February and Valentine's Day and winter, because there are a lot of fun summer romances, and all of the other fantasy or longer romances were too much of a commitment for right now. I also super lucked out on this copy because it's actually signed by the author. I ended up starting it already this trip. If you don't know, the cheat sheet is about two best friends, Bree and Nathan, who are both secretly pining for one another. They've been best friends for years and years and years, and are finally at a point in their life where both of them are single for the first time. Nathan is a wildly successful NFL player, and Bree is a ballet studio owner, and he just does a really good job of taking care of her and looking out for her in ways that she may not be aware of. And she is the bright, fun, bubbly best friend who really has a heart for the community and cares for the girls that she teaches. So I'm about 60 pages in at this point, and I think it's really cute. It's definitely a very light romance, a very easy read and very easy to follow. The dialogue is a little silly and like a little amateur, but that's kind of the only thing pulling me out of the story, is sometimes the way that they talk. It just doesn't feel like super realistic, but it's been super fun and I'm happy with it so far. I ended up finishing the cheat sheet on the plane and gave it a 4 stars. After I got used to the dialogue style and their silly inner monologues, it actually was a really, really cute book, and I caught myself several times like smiling in the airport and was embarrassed that I was like cheesing so hard at a cartoon cover romance book. These characters were super easy to root for. I thought Sarah Adams did a great job, and it was really fun to read. It was very, very quick as well. I think the entire book only took me a couple hours. Also, one of my favorite takes that I've seen so far on a miscommunication trope. It sometimes is a little frustrating just because you like want to shake both of them and say, just tell each other you like each other. But I had a good time, and I think it is a great way to start off February with Valentine's Day so close. My next book this month is actually the book I started last month and haven't finished, which is King's Cage by Victoria Aveyard. It's the third book in the Red Queen series, and I read about half of it last month, and I really want to finish it, so I'm gonna try and do that quickly. I finished King's Cage, and this was kind of hard to rate because I read it for a couple weeks and then I stopped for like a month and then I picked it up again. So my review's a little screwed by that. I think I gave this book a 3.25. Honestly, a lot of it I feel like could have been cut out. The majority of the first half was a lot of politics and waiting, and not a whole lot happened. I personally did not enjoy the first half of this that much. I was really looking forward to getting to the next part, and then when we finally did, I was really enjoying the book, but there was even more build up for the very end, and then the end got cut short for more politics. And I was like, are you kidding me? We've waited this long for this big event to happen, and then now that it has, we don't even get to see all the details of it playing out. To be honest, I was a little tired of the circles that I feel like Mare talked herself in over and over and over again for the majority of the book. I also really did not understand the whole love triangle. I am emotional for this one, and all of a sudden I'm deeply in love with this one. Like, it just didn't feel very natural to me, like the flow of the relationships in this series as a whole. The pacing of it was weird. I didn't feel as connected to it because there's so much else happening. The potential for it was there all along, but I just don't think the execution really resonated with me. And it might be because I took so long to finish this book and honestly to read the series as a whole, but I just feel very disconnected from it, and it's made it harder to be on board with everything that's been happening. I didn't not enjoy it. It was still an enjoyable read, and I don't regret reading the series, but I do regret how I've read it. I wish I would have read all of these books back to back, and I didn't take such a big break, not only like reading this book itself, but also in just reading the series start to finish. Oh, in the very, very end, the attitudes and decisions got on my nerves. But next, I'm finally gonna finish the series and read War Storm. And I did order this book because I have not been able to find it secondhand anywhere. So it came with sprayed edges, which I don't mind the sprayed edges, but I am a little annoyed that it doesn't match the rest of the copies that I have for the series. Okay, I finished War Storm today. This book was the best out of the series, and as the fourth book, I feel like had the most action, but also was the most well written. This book was really, really long. It's about 650 pages, and it definitely felt long while I was reading it, but not in a bad way, just I was more aware of the length than sometimes I am with fantasy books. Honestly, I kind of wish that the whole series had been this well written, but I do still have some complaints. I didn't love the way everything wrapped up. Some of the larger conflict resolutions were quite convenient, and I wish that there had been more action or a more high stakes ending. It just felt a little anticlimactic. I think that there could have been some pretty epic endings to the story that has gone on for 4 books, but we just never really got there. I ended up liking the characters individually a lot more in this book. I think I've kind of gone up and down with my feelings for them throughout this entire series, but in this book in particular, I really liked each of the characters. But for some reason, we still got introduced to new point of views through the storytelling, and I don't know why we're still adding different point of views to tell the story 4 books in. Like that, it kind of took me out of it every time someone new would have a turn to relay what was going on from their point of view. I feel like the book would have been a lot more impactful if we had just stuck to 1 or 2. And I understand the need to kind of explain what's going on in different parts of the world, but I feel like it's kind of a cheap way to convey that information and make it easier for the author to tell us what's going on instead of having to craft it into the story a lot more cleverly. And some of the point of views that we ended up getting through this book, I was annoyed that we got that person's point of view. Like the point of them was mystery, or the allure of their character was that we didn't really know what was going on inside their head, but then you get a glimpse of it and it kind of takes that away from the rest of the story. But somehow I still didn't want the story to end. Like I still wanted more out of it. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy my time reading this series. I think the Red Queen series as a whole isn't bad by any means. It just, there was a lot of potential and a lot of things that I wish had gone differently or had been written differently. I think if I read this as a teen or like just when I was younger, I would have really loved it. But I did rate this book a 4 stars. I did enjoy my time in the Red Queen universe. I have the collection of novellas, and I think I am gonna read that next, just to kind of round out the series as a whole. I know if I don't pick it up now, I probably won't ever. Overall, this was a really short reading month for me. I only read 3 books total. Granted, some of them are very long, but this does put me slightly behind in my goals for the year, so hopefully in March I'll be able to catch up. Thanks for watching. See you next time.